I never believed in ghosts, aliens, or anything paranormal until last month. I'm a software engineer, so I deal with logic and code every day. If something can't be explained by science, I usually dismiss it. But what happened to me recently has shaken my worldview to its core. It all started when I was cleaning out my parents' attic after they moved to Florida. I found an old box hidden behind some dusty boxes of Christmas decorations. Inside were letters, photographs, and a small, ornate locket. The locket had a strange symbol engraved on it, a circle with intricate lines inside, almost like a mandala but darker, more ominous. I recognized the locket immediately. It belonged to my sister Emily, who died in a car accident when I was 10. She was 16 at the time, and her death devastated our family. But what was this symbol? I don't remember ever seeing it before. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to do some research. I started by asking my parents about it, but they seemed evasive. My mom said it was just some trinket Emily liked, nothing special, but I could tell she was hiding something. That's when I decided to dig deeper. I took the locket to a local jeweler to see if they could tell me anything about the symbol. The jeweler looked at it and said it wasn't from any culture he recognized, but he suggested I might want to check with a historian or someone who deals with occult symbols. Occult? That word sent a chill down my spine. Why would Emily have something like that? I posted a picture of the symbol on a few online forums, hoping someone might recognize it. Most responses were useless, just people speculating about aliens or satanic rituals. But one message caught my attention. It was from a user named TruthSeeker2025, who claimed to be a former government employee with knowledge of classified projects. They said the symbol was associated with Project Shadow, a secret government initiative from the 1980s that dealt with paranormal research. According to TruthSeeker 2025, the project was an offshoot of the Stargate project, which I later learned was a real U.S. Army program that investigated psychic phenomena like remote viewing. Wikipedia, Stargate project. Project Shadow, they claimed, was shut down after several incidents, including the disappearance of several test subjects. My heart raced. Disappearances. Was that connected to Emily's accident? It wasn't a disappearance. She died in a car crash. Or did she? I needed more information. I messaged TruthSeeker 2025 back, asking for more details. They agreed to meet me in person, but only in a public place, and they warned me that I might be putting myself in danger by investigating this. We met at a coffee shop in the next town over. TruthSeeker 2025 turned out to be an older man, probably in his 60s, with a wary look in his eyes. He told me that Project Shadow was an attempt to weaponize paranormal abilities, like telekinesis or precognition. The symbol on the locket was used as a focus for these abilities. He said that several children were involved in the project, including some from our town. When I mentioned Emily's name, his face paled. He confirmed that she was one of the subjects, but he didn't know what happened to her specifically, only that there was an incident that led to the project's termination. An incident? What kind of incident? He wouldn't say more, just told me to be careful and that some people might not want this information to come out. That night I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing with questions. Was Emily's death really an accident, or was there more to it? And why did my parents never mention any of this? The next day I went back to the attic to see if there was anything else in that box I might have missed. That's when I found a letter, hidden inside the lining of the box. It was addressed to Emily from someone named Doctor. The letter talked about her progress in the project and how her abilities were advancing rapidly. Abilities? What abilities did Emily have? I never knew Emily to have any special powers. She was just a normal teenager, or so I thought. I decided to visit the local library to see if there were any records or newspaper articles about Project Shadow or anything related to the symbol. After hours of searching through microfiche and old newspapers, I found something. There was a small article from 1987 about a fire at an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. The fire was ruled accidental, but there were rumors of strange experiments being conducted there. The address of the warehouse matched the one on the letterhead of Dr. H's letter. I had to see this place for myself. The next day I drove out to the warehouse. It was in ruins, overgrown with weeds, and looked like no one had been there for years. But as I approached, I felt a strange sensation, like I was being watched. I entered the warehouse, and that's when things got really weird. I heard whispers, like voices, from nowhere, and shadows seemed to move on their own. In the center of the main room, there was a large circle drawn on the floor, similar to the symbol on the locket. Suddenly, I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. I turned around, but there was no one there. Then I saw her, Emily, standing in the corner, looking just like she did when she was 16. She didn't speak, just pointed to the symbol on the floor. Then she vanished. I was terrified, but also determined to understand what was happening. I took out my phone and started recording, hoping to capture something. As I stood there, the temperature dropped, and the whispers grew louder. I could make out words now. Help us. Free us. The truth must be told. Then everything went silent. I looked down at the symbol, and it started to glow faintly. That's when I noticed a small compartment in the floor, hidden beneath the symbol. I pried it open and found a stack of documents and a videotape. The documents were reports from Project Shadow, detailing experiments on children with psychic abilities. Emily's name was listed, along with several others. The reports mentioned that the project was attempting to create a psychic amplifier using the symbol as a focal point. It was a continuation of research from the Stargate project, focusing on younger subjects with exceptional potential. Forbes, A Secret History of Military Paranormal Science. But something went wrong during one of the experiments. There was a surge of energy that caused a rift, and several children, including Emily, were presumed dead. Presumed dead. Not confirmed? I took the videotape and rushed home to watch it. It was footage from the night of the incident. I saw Emily and other children sitting in the circle, concentrating. Then there was a flash of light, and the camera shook. When it stabilized, the children were gone, and the room was empty. The tape ended with a man's voice saying, "They're not dead, they're somewhere else. We have to find a way to bring them back." Somewhere else? Like another dimension? My mind was reeling. So Emily might still be alive? Trapped in some other place? I needed to find out more. I went back to the coffee shop to meet Truth Seeker 2025 again, but when I got there, the place was cordoned off with police tape. There had been an accident, a gas leak explosion, they said, but I knew better. It felt like someone was trying to cover this up. I tried contacting Truth Seeker 2025 online, but their account had been deleted. I was alone in this now, but I couldn't give up. I had to find a way to bring Emily back, or at least find out what really happened. That's when I remembered something Emily used to say when we were kids. She would talk about a special place where she could go when she closed her eyes, a place with colors and sounds that no one else could see or hear. Was that the somewhere else they were talking about? I decided to try to replicate the experiment. Maybe if I could activate the symbol, I could contact Emily or the others. I went back to the warehouse, set up the circle with candles, just like in the videotape, and placed the locket in the center. I sat down and tried to concentrate, focusing on Emily's face, willing her to come back. At first, nothing happened. Then slowly, the air around me started to hum, and the symbol began to glow. Suddenly, I felt a pull, like I was being drawn into the light. I resisted at first, but then I let go, and everything went white. When I opened my eyes, I was in a different place. A vast, empty space with swirling colors and distant sounds. And there in front of me was Emily. She looked older, but it was definitely her. "Alex," she said, "you shouldn't have come here. It's not safe." I tried to speak, but no words came out. She continued, "We're trapped here, in this limbo between worlds. The experiment opened a door, but we can't find our way back." I finally found my voice. "How can I help you?" She shook her head. "You can't. Not alone. You need to find the others, the ones who were part of the project. Together, maybe we can close the door or find a way back." "But how? I don't even know who they are." "The list is in the documents you found. Start there. But be careful. There are people who don't want this to be known." Before I could ask more, I felt myself being pulled back, and everything went black. When I came to, I was back in the warehouse, lying on the floor. The symbol had stopped glowing, and the candles had burned out. I knew what I had to do. I had to find the other children from Project Shadow and see if we could work together to free Emily and the others. But first, I needed to make sure I wasn't going crazy. I know this all sounds insane, right? A government project involving psychic children, portals to other dimensions? If you had told me this a month ago, I would have laughed in your face. But now, after everything I've seen and experienced, I can't deny it. That's why I'm posting this here. Has anyone else experienced something like this? Do you know anything about Project Shadow or this symbol? I'm attaching a picture of the symbol. If you recognize it or have any information, please reach out. I need to know if I'm alone in this or if there's more to this story.